President Trump is taking aim at writer Michael Wolff following the latest Epstein files documents dump from the DOJ. The president did accuse Wolff of conspiring with Epstein to try to destroy his political career. Wolff does appear in the documents that were published last November, and he appeared to be acting as Epstein's unofficial advisor and publisher ahead of the 2016 election, even went so far as to call Epstein the, quote, bullet that could end Trump's 2016 bid. Trump addressed Wolff's alleged conspiracy on Air Force One over the weekend, even indicating the latest document dump proves he did nothing wrong. Take a listen.
It looked like this guy Wolff, who's a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, the radical left. That Wolff was a third-rate writer, was conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt me, politically or otherwise, and that came through loud and clear. So we'll probably sue Wolff.
Meanwhile, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said that over the weekend, the federal officials are unable to investigate various tips that the FBI received about Trump's alleged involvement with Epstein.
Now, DOJ emails show that those tips were compiled as information from, quote, Trump accusers back in August. The documents show the FBI contacted many, but not all of the initial callers, with some tipsters not leaving their information. Blanche told CNN's Dana Bash that it's because of some of those tips were anonymous and relied on secondhand information that they have been unable to investigate them. Let's take a look.
It's not about President Trump. It's about a ton of people, multiple people that were, quote, in the Epstein files. And what I think folks will see when they review the materials we released is that there have been hundreds of calls made to the FBI where allegations are made by either anonymous individuals or people who are very quickly determined to not be credible, whether it's the nature of what they're saying or the fact they won't provide any information or corroboration. And that's part of the Epstein files.
Blanche also pointed out that they received tips regarding other prominent politicians and famous people. As of Sunday morning, the list of tips regarding the president was no longer available on the DOJ's publicly available database. A DOJ spokesperson also said in a statement Friday that there was no validity to tips regarding Trump, saying, quote, this production may include fake or falsely submitted images, documents, or videos, as everything that was sent to the FBI by the public was included in the production that is responsive to the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Some of the documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false.
Yeah, what is the Trump obsession? Trump is not impugned by what's going on here. So can we just move on from that aspect? Now, there is interesting stuff coming out of these latest Epstein files, making available, including multiple people who said that they'd never been to the island. There's now emails saying, hey, when am I getting my invite to the island? I can't wait to go, including Elon Musk, frankly, is that. But we're just obsessed with Trump. Who cares? It's not Trump. Trump is not involved in this.
Well,
can we accept that and move on?
No, I think when...
Of course you can't.
Yeah, no, I think we have 1,800 times that man's name was mentioned. That's a lot. I mean, my name wasn't mentioned in there. Your name wasn't mentioned in there.
You're not the most important person on earth.
Well, neither is Trump to me.
Yes.
I think 1,800 people.
Well, you can live your truth, but Trump is the most important person on earth.
1,800 times mentioned. He was mentioned that many times. That means it's worth looking into. And you talk about this journalist. The journalist was not trying to just attack Trump. He literally was asking for that time in that back and forth with Epstein.
Well, Michael Wolff was trying to attack Trump.
Yeah, he's saying this would be the bullet to take him down because he was trying to convince Epstein, according to him, that he wants people to know the truth about Trump, so he should come forward with what Epstein knew. So he's like, just do what you want. Say what you want. Say it out loud.
Michael Wolff.
Because your career is already ruined. Your life is already ruined. Say the things out loud. That's what Michael Wolff says his intention was.
Say.
There is plenty to say.
There's nothing to say. Not about Trump.
I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation if his name wasn't mentioned. And I'm of the thought process that we can go ahead and look into Bill Clinton too. I don't care. Everybody that's so closely tied to Epstein over and over again, and their names are being mentioned thousands of times. Let's look. I'm not biased in this way. People need to understand information about historically why this man was able to get away with so much. People want to understand what his foreign connections might be. People want to follow the money and see who paid him, how he got to such success. It makes no sense. And why he was dangling so many threats over President Trump's head. There's no threats my point is, like, whether you think Trump is the most important man in the world or not, you can't dangle threats over somebody if they're completely untrue, right? If somebody dangled an untrue threat to you, you would be unbothered. You'd be like, say it out loud, right?
That's not true, because
Why?
anyone even tangentially mentioned in the same breath as Epstein suffers reputational harm. People have had to pay out to some of these victims who are not credible, who are subsequently demonstrated to not be credible, but you don't want the negative publicity and you don't want to go to trial, so you just pay them out. So there is ample reason to not want any of this, even if you're totally innocent, A. B, nothing is being suppressed. We're getting the information and it just doesn't have anything to do with Trump. Or frankly, the Clintons. The interesting part is the people who continue to talk to Epstein after he already goes down for sex crimes in the aughts, and are still having correspondence with him in the 2010s. That includes Richard Branson. That includes Steve Bannon in a big way. Steve Bannon, Stacey Plaskett, messaging with Jeffrey Epstein right up until the end. I saw a 2-hour interview that Epstein did with Bannon. I'm not sure at what point, where they're talking about housing and stuff. Maybe we're going to address it in a bit. I don't know. It's that's all interesting, but Trump is just not. There's nothing to do with Trump.
What about the old adage that where there's smoke, there's fire? There's people that are mentioned 1 or 2 times, and yes, we're like, okay, these are uncorroborated claims. We're seeing Trump's name next to 13-year-olds. We're seeing Trump's name next to Ghislaine Maxwell bringing young girls to him, and him deciding what the next steps will be. That's what we're seeing in these latest released documents.
What if I said over and over again?
No, not over and over again.
There's no evidence that Lindsay is an arsonist.
Right, but
there's no evidence.
45 people call. If 45 people
headlines,
call the Hill,
Lindsay and arson, unclear but is denied.
If 45 people call the Hill and say, "Hey, Lindsay burned something," then I might be an arsonist. That's what I'm trying to say. The smoke fire idea, right?
That,
now,
or there's a bunch of people out to get you.
Obsessed with me? We're obsessed that much with President Trump? I don't think so.
You know, this is he's one of the most. He has enemies.
He actually has friends, and one of them were Epstein. Sorry to tell you that. That was his good friend. Yes, and even though he's distancing himself now, people are just saying, historically, if you did something gross, we're going to point it out. And if you didn't, then clear your name.
They've been trying. If they had it by now, it would have come out. They don't have it. They don't got it. There's no connection here for the bad stuff.
What's wrong with holding powerful people accountable? Could be Trump, could be Clinton, could be whoever. Let's ask the questions. That's what we like to do.
What's wrong with it for me is you and the people you're representing, or whose viewpoint you're representing here, will never be satisfied. They'll say, well, we just got to keep looking until we find something, even though there's nothing to find. That's my fear.
Up next, Iran's supreme leader warns the United States that any attack on his country would result in a, quote, regional war. Don't go anywhere.